Hey everyone, welcome back to Personal Growth Talks podcast. I'm Jason, your host, and with me as always is my amazing co-host Julia. Today's episode is one I think everyone can relate to because we're diving into something many of us struggle with daily, overthinking, and of course, how we can move past it to start taking action. Julia, how are you doing?
Hi, Jason. I'm doing great, thank you. And wow, overthinking. Yes, I think everyone has been there at some point. I know I have. It's like we get so caught up in our own minds, going over every detail, every possibility, and sometimes we get stuck there. We just can't take that first step. And I'm really excited to dig into this today because there are actually some effective ways to get out of this cycle, right?
Absolutely, Julia. Overthinking can feel like a trap. You think you're preparing or analyzing, but in reality, it just keeps you in place, sometimes even causing stress or self-doubt. Let's start by defining overthinking. In simple terms, overthinking is when we go over a situation or decision repeatedly without actually doing anything about it. And often it's caused by a fear of making mistakes, fear of failing, or even just wanting things to be perfect.
Yes, and overthinking can become a habit without us even noticing. It's like our minds are on a loop, playing the same thoughts over and over. But what we don't realize is that this constant mental replay uses a lot of our energy and prevents us from actually moving forward. Jason, let's talk about some signs that someone might be overthinking. How do you know when you're stuck in that cycle?
Good question. One common sign is when you find yourself analyzing the same situation from every angle and thinking, what if this happens? Or what if that doesn't work? Another big one is when you feel so overwhelmed by the options that you can't make a decision at all. So instead of making any choice, you just stay stuck. And of course, if you're lying awake at night replaying conversations or decisions, that's a pretty clear sign of overthinking.
Exactly. And I think it's important to understand that overthinking often holds us back from acting on our goals, dreams, or even everyday tasks. So let's move into the solutions because I know many listeners are wondering, how do I stop overthinking? Jason, where can we start?
A great starting point is to recognize that you're overthinking. A lot of times we're so deep in our thoughts that we don't even realize it. By noticing and acknowledging it, you're taking the first step towards breaking the cycle. And once you've done that, one useful technique is to set a decision deadline. If you need to make a decision, give yourself a specific time frame and stick to it.
I love that idea because it's practical. By setting a deadline, you're giving yourself permission to stop analyzing and start acting. Another technique that I've found helpful is challenging your thoughts. Often, when we're overthinking, our minds can blow things out of proportion. Asking yourself, is this thought helping me or is it just keeping me stuck, can be powerful.
Absolutely, Julia. Another helpful approach is taking small steps. Instead of thinking about the big picture, try to focus on the first tiny step you can take. For example, if you're overthinking about starting a project, focus on just opening your notebook and jotting down one idea. Often, once we take that first small step, the rest starts to feel a lot easier.
Yes, that's such a great point, Jason. Action creates momentum. When we take even the smallest step forward, it breaks the cycle of overthinking and creates a sense of progress. And let's talk about something we both value, being kind to yourself. Overthinking often brings a lot of self-criticism. What if instead of judging ourselves for not taking action, we encouraged ourselves to try one small thing?
That's so important, Julia. Being gentle with ourselves goes a long way, and sometimes we think we're waiting for the perfect moment to act, but the truth is there's no perfect time. We just have to start, even if things aren't perfect. Sometimes just starting is all it takes to make real progress.
Couldn't agree more, Jason. And as a final tip, I'd say practice mindfulness. Just being present can help us avoid those endless what if thoughts. If you feel yourself starting to overthink, take a deep breath, Focus on the present and remind yourself that it's okay to take things one step at a time.
Yes, mindfulness can be a game changer. By bringing your attention back to the present, you're training your mind to let go of worries and focus on what's actually happening now. And remember, action beats overthinking every time. Just taking that first step, however small, can make all the difference.
Absolutely, Jason. So, to wrap things up for today's listeners, if you're stuck in overthinking, start with these small steps. Acknowledge it, set a deadline for decisions, challenge those thoughts, take a tiny action, be kind to yourself, and stay mindful. Taking even one of these steps can help you move forward.
Thanks again for joining us on Personal Growth Talks podcast. If you found today's episode helpful, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give us a thumbs up. We'd also love to hear from you. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Let us know if you have ever struggled with overthinking and what small steps you plan to take to overcome it. And of course, stay tuned for more episodes to help you grow and take control of your life. Until next time, keep moving forward and remember, you've got this.